right now.
Hi, babe.
So, hey, Susan, my darling, you're the best. I adore you so
You're the,
much.
oh my God.
I do. I was like, all right, I need to go down to LA and visit Susan. But I'm currently making slow cooked wings and then gonna
Mm,
grill them. So excited.
yum.
They marinated overnight,
Yum.
and I'm just gonna flip them and then cook them. They were like steaming here. Let me show you.
Oh my gosh, you're serious.
So good. I'm so excited.
Protein.
So, yes. And then we're going to grill them later. I'm not going to lie. It was my husband who started this. Just slow cook them in the oven. And then, I mean, ideally we would smoke them, but when we moved here, we moved to a townhouse development that you, I mean, we have a balcony, but it's just, we have to take it up the stairs and then, yeah, so we're not getting a smoker here.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so post class,
Mm-hmm.
very exciting. Um,
This was so rich today.
it was so good. Like even what you were saying, um, I always love your shares. It's so, I'm just so like in awe of your shares every time. I'm like,
Really?
wow, yes, your shares are so, they're
What do
so
you
clear. Like when you said cutthroat, that I was like, yes, like they're so precise. Like you're like a precision cutter. Like
Mm.
you say the thing and it's very clear and it hits and I am not confused when you speak
Oh,
ever.
thank
Like you're very I don't know. It's chilling. It's like, ooh,
Oh,
wow.
that feels good to hear because sometimes when I share, I don't even know what I shared.
I
After it just like kind of comes
it's
out.
like a flow, like a
Yeah.
think tank and like this natural flow,
Yeah.
right? So cool. But
I'm
I
so glad we have EQ Lab to just drop it, like vomit, and then here it is. Let me know what you think.
yeah, I was pretty excited today because I had a question for the professors because we're in lab and we're learning about dealing with our emotions and going to the core and emerging, right?
Yeah.
And I'm also like, yeah, in lab, we get what we want from people, but like, that's not gonna happen in real life. Like, nobody cares if you're sad or hurt. That's not true, but it's a very high possibility. So I'm like, are we learning how to emerge in class where you can get what you want? Like, if you want to tell someone you love them, you can, and that's normal and that's okay. Or, or if you want attention and you want people to affirm you, and you will get that in lab because we're there to do that and we're open to it. But what happens when in real life that doesn't happen? So I'm curious about that. So I was going to ask the professors today, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go find my own answers and we'll see what happens. And then maybe I'll bring it to them.
Yeah, I
But I
think
guess,
ideally, if I can answer for myself,
hmm
ideally, that's where I want to live. I want to live my life as a lab, just exploring all of my emotions and all my feelings. But I know I can only, um, because I know I can only take myself I can only take others as far as I take myself. So,
mm,
so, if this lab is supposed to be preparing us for coaching, then we are learning how to, just hold that space for others. And yes, it is a sacred space. Our
hmm
life is a sacred space.
hmm
Our lives are sacred, and everyone we come into contact with is a moment for us to practice being our most sacred and honest self, however that presents in that moment.
mm,
And that's how I want to live.
hmm
Does it always happen? I don't know because it depends on how in touch with the sacred I am within myself at that moment.
hmm Do you think that the sacred within yourself overrides everything else? You know
Mm,
what I mean by that?
I think that Do you mean does it override all the time or am I or
The
what do you
moment. So the moment, and I can explain. Everybody in lab is in tune, like for the most part. Not always, but for the most part, we're learning the same thing. We're on the same track. We all know that we're emerging from different things and we have different personalities, but we're all like, yeah, each person is emerging. Like we're all in tune with that, right? We're all on board.
Mhm.
When you're out in the real world, there's people that have no idea about emotional intelligence. Most people think emotions are bad. Most people think, well, I'm projecting, but as far as I know, most people think emotions are bad. You don't show them, it's a weakness. People can control you through your emotions. Um, so I'm just like in every day when you're having a lab, like if we're living in lab, does my showing up as the sacred, as my sacred self or as my emergent self, does that override the interaction? Like, should I be, I don't know how else to say it, um, enlightened enough to not control the narrative necessarily, but to, you know, we're learning in lab, like bringing people to what they're feeling. Should I be, am I having like a one-off response? I still think that I'm trying to ask the question,
Mm.
like I'm still coming, like ask, like learning the question as I'm asking it. Um, Sorry, there's a lot of things going through my head right now. I always relate things back to like the things that I've learned, and
Well, why do you think the question's coming up?
because I'm like, how will I be able to apply everything I'm becoming to the real world? Like, what will be the results? Are the
Okay.
results for me? Are the
Okay.
results for the interactions in the world? Are the results for the betterment of the world as a whole? And how do I know that I'm doing it or that I'm achieving it? Is it because people agree with me? Is it because my interactions are better? Is it because I feel better? Is it because people like me? Like, you know, like what are the results of like I'm actually becoming emergent? Is it just me being fulfilled alone? You know?
think that I think that let's start with the words real world.
Mhm.
What is the real world? What is your real world?
That's so interesting. I guess it's interesting that I separated it. That's interesting.
I
I guess
mean,
that's just a habit.
I don't know. I don't know that maybe for you, you were separating it. But what I was hearing was, let's get real. Like, let's get real in our world, the real world, like that show. Like, they were
Mhm.
so real. They were so unfiltered. That was when reality TV was not, I don't think it was as scripted as it is now. Like, they
Mhm.
would go off, and then they would repair it or they wouldn't. Oh, well.
Mhm.
Um, but I think it's just bringing our real sacredness. Like, it doesn't have, I'm not associating enlightenment with good feels. Just like,
Mhm.
I'm just saying, I want to be real. Like, if something is hard, I want to be able to say it's hard
Mhm.
and be with that fear or that sadness or that anger with others,
Mhm.
with myself and with others to like work through it. Um,
Mhm. That's fair and that makes sense. I guess the conflicting thought there is the kind of what Dr. Mike mentioned today in class was like, don't like revel in the misery of the things. So it's like maybe drawing a fine line between like, what does that even mean? Because then the other things that come up for me is like when they talked about the law of attraction, the law of assumption, like all these different laws. of the universe. It's like what you focus on, you create more of. And what you put your energy on, you create more of. So it's like, how much of this feeling is there a formula? Like when I address this feeling, when I address it this bad, this sucks, or whatever, any of those things, how much time should lapse between the naming of that and moving away from it so that I don't create more of that if that's the theory we're following, because these are all theories, right? And we're just trying to see what works.
I know. And you know what I notice gets in the way big time is when we don't assume goodwill.
Hmm.
That really messes things up.
That's fair. I'm guilty, so guilty of that. Not
Yeah, same
assuming
here.
goodwill.
Same here.
Wow.
I think we
And
all are, you know?
hmm I wonder why.
I know. Once we
Hmm.
hear the words, we can get back to it.
Hmm.
But unless someone says to me like, "Oh no, you got to assume goodwill," or if I don't like look at the word that sometimes I just write it down to remind myself.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it can get really storyful and
I'm
react
here.
and reactive.
Hmm. Did I
Um,
go off video? Sorry about that.
no.
I
Mm-mm.
did it. Okay, good. Sorry, my phone was the signal.
Yeah, and like even when things don't go my way,
Hmm.
when things don't go the way I expect them to go,
Hmm.
and I get upset or hurt,
Hmm.
there is still a goodwill to assume because other people have their own agenda, their own life path.
Hmm.
And so it may not be what my expectation and my desire is, but it does help me redirect to, okay, if it's not this, then it must be something else for me for now. Um, and we're talking around things. So should we try to bring in something we're actually dealing with?
Hmm.
Or are you just completely fine with exploring the question on your own and like you said?
Well, part of the reason that I say that is because I truly believe what Albert Einstein says. You cannot find the solution in the same mind that created the problem. So what I do when I have a question is that I go do some research and try to like make sense of everything that I know and like find a new perspective about it. So the example that I gave in class was the disagreement. When people disagree with me, it equals negativity in my mind. Like it equals rejection. Um, it equals negative. And I went and did some research and hold on, I found it in my journal, so I'm gonna read it to you real quick.
Okay, I'm gonna plug in my charger.
Okay.
Tea break. Okay, I want to hear this.
Okay. So it was the disagreement thing because honestly, like some people were asking me actually when I was out in visiting family. They're like, "What are you doing your doctorate for? Like, you're just getting into more debt. Like, what is that even? Like, is it going to make you more money? Like, what is that? What's the point of that?" Like, and I felt like it was negative. Like, they don't believe in me. They don't believe what I'm trying to do, all of that. But then it was just like, which exactly my coach was like, it sounds like they're concerned for you and they
Mm,
have a little bit of fear. And I was like, oh,
mm,
I can assume positive intent, not that they're like, this is stupid. What are you doing? And so this is what I had wrote, and I was like, what is it? What is it in me that jumps to the conclusion that others are viewing me negatively when they disagree with me? And then I just looked up all the possibilities and I listed them that I need to do research on as well. does it it could be a cognitive distortion, it could be negativity bias, protective mechanism, a childhood invalidation, or dismissal, a hypervigilance from trauma, internalized shame or low self-esteem or low self-trust, a lack of emotional differentiation. So, like my brain might not separate disagreement from disdain or disconnection. So, this is common for people who are sensitive, intuitive, or have often been misunderstood as children. So now my new frame of work is like it's just like this disagreement is not dismissal. Disagreement can coexist with rapport, love, and presence. And then what I'm writing down is like my old patterns and the new patterns, because that's kind of what we did in Emergence is like, what are we noticing our patterns, and then what are we moving towards, and what is the new narrative we're going to say about ourselves. So the old pattern was disagreement equals danger, and my response would be to shut down, feel angry, feel fear, frown, like literally physically frown,
Mhm.
and then over explain to try to be understood. So the new pattern would be with when I have disagreement would be to be curious, and my response would be, okay, I feel what's happening. I'm breathing. I'm staying. Remembering group process, I got up and I left for the disagreement. So I'm staying put. Um, I'm sharing why it matters to me. Um, and I'm inviting a conversation, an open conversation. And so that's what I want to move towards. Um, and this part got me because I'm like such a visual person, and I always said I had learned at one point like what what I have a table, and it's like the board members of my life, like who I will take criticism and feedback from, who I trust enough to care for me to give me criticism that actually like is caring towards me. And I was just like, well, at this table, what if these people disagree with me? And and then it was just like, okay, well, I can place my tile, like, if you're making like this beautiful mosaic of life, like I can place my tile on the table and it can be different and it could be completely different from everybody else, but it still adds to that beautiful mosaic. And if I think about it like that, like I have a style of being, if if I just think of it as like I'm adding my style and I'm co-creating life with all of these people, then I don't have to look at my style or my little tile in this mosaic or beautiful life. Um, I don't have to look at it as like, oh, well, that's not the same as this person. It's just like I am adding to the co-creation of life. I'm adding to the art of life. And in that way, it just makes it so much softer to view disagreement as I have a different style than everyone else, and that's okay. Okay, that's it.
That's beautiful.
mm.
You're so beautiful, Elizabeth. Yeah, you
Susan.
are. You're so self-aware. You're so beautiful with how you continue to explore the different things that happen in your life to like have a truer understanding and see through like all the different lenses that could be possible. And then I see you like arrive at your own conclusion. And even when the conclusion is like, you know, something you didn't think of or something you didn't want to feel, like you still are there for you and you fight for you. And that's love. Like that is unconditional love. So that's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know if I took us off course, but yeah, because I know what we had been mentioning, but I know I went a little bit off of into that because that's what I wanted to share, but in class today, and I feel like I have to have a conversation with some people from class now. Just seeing what Marche had like brought up,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I think I've been harboring stuff, so it'll be interesting to have this conversations, these conversations.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's gonna have a lot of impact. I think that I'm just curious, like, do you mean you want to talk to um a certain professor to like talk
Just
about
some of
them?
the maybe some of the classmates, but we'll see. Like it maybe it's just like a new idea of like maybe I could talk to some of the classmates that I was like I'm not fucking with them anymore.
Oh,
Sorry for cursing because I know YouTube flags you for that, but
okay. No, I don't make it for
shut
kids.
down. Huh?
I don't make it for kids.
Oh, okay, okay. That's helpful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So then is that the all or nothing coming in? Or
You remembered that.
I remember.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I guess so, but I but I don't necessarily want to live there. So it just seems like a slow process to not being all or nothing.
Yeah, and it's a great process, because we're not Russia and Ukraine. Like we can work things out.
Yeah.
Everyone, everyone, especially in our program, seems to be open to like really understanding their patterns and like what's likable and what's not likable. It doesn't mean you have to be the best of friends with anybody like me.
That's true.
But,
You're just so easy to love.
there's like, yeah, it's just a whole ride. I mean, honestly, everyone I encounter, we all just have like this hurt.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've been humanizing everyone. I've just been like, wow, you're just
Does that feel great?
it feels sad sometimes.
Happy
Oh,
Mother's Day.
thank you. Is that a peony? Tulip?
It's a tulip.
Yeah,
Yeah. Did you
beautiful.
say a peony tulip? There's different specific types?
Yeah, yeah.
Holy moly, you're amazing. I need to
Like
learn all these
learned that the
things.
other day at Trader Joe's.
Oh my God, I love it. I have a vision for us. We are wearing sundresses and sun hats and sandals, and we're gardening, and we're taking a walk on the beach, and we're riding our bikes with our dogs in a basket in the front.
Oh my God, I love this vision.
We're
Um,
doing it.
amazing. You have to go pee.
I do.
I see you.
I'm like,
Oh my God. You want to pause or
yeah,
just
yeah. Here, I'm gonna call you.
I'll pause it. I'll pause the recording. Okay, so I'm glad you have your session and have a great session.
Mhm.
I love you. It's so good to see
Love
you.
you too, Susan. Thank you so much. We'll catch up.
Okay, bye.